most awkward favor someone has ever called in. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. with a text that made me sit straight up in bed. Remember that favor you owe me? I need you to be my boyfriend at my sister's wedding this Saturday. Pick me up at 4 p.m. Wear navy. It was from Poppy, the girl who saved my entire college career 3 years ago. I hadn't spoken to her since graduation when I drunkenly promised her anything, anytime, after she spent an entire semester tutoring me through chemistry for free. Without her, I would have lost my scholarship and dropped out. Now she was calling in that favor. And honestly, being someone's fake boyfriend for a day seemed like a small price to pay. Plus, if I was being honest with myself, I'd always wondered what it would have been like to actually date her. When I picked her up that Saturday, Poppy answered the door looking absolutely stunning in an emerald dress that made her green eyes even brighter. But her expression was all business. She handed me a typed sheet of paper titled Our Relationship Details, with bullet points about our first date, how long we'd been together, and my supposed favorite things about her. 8 months, she said, adjusting my tie without making eye contact. We've been dating 8 months. You call me Pop sometimes. We met at a coffee shop. Her voice was mechanical, like she was reading a grocery list. During the drive, she explained the situation. My parents keep trying to set me up with their business partner's son at every family event. He's perfectly nice, but I'm just not interested. This will shut them up for a while. The whole ride, she was silent. Then when we arrived at the venue, she took a deep breath, grabbed my hand, and suddenly transformed into a completely different person. Ready, babe, she said with a bright smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. The ceremony was beautiful. I caught Poppy wiping her eyes during the vows, and without thinking, I handed her my pocket square. She looked surprised, but took it, whispering thanks so quietly, I almost missed it. During the reception, I found myself forgetting this was an act. When her uncle made a toast, I instinctively put my arm around her shoulders. When the music was too loud to hear her cousin's story, I leaned down so she could whisper it in my ear, her breath warm against my neck. Her grandmother cornered us by the dessert table, pinching my cheeks and telling Poppy in a stage whisper, this one's much better than Adrian. Poppy went rigid at the name, but I squeezed her hand and smoothly changed the subject to Grandma's famous apple pie recipe. The couple's dance was when everything shifted. Poppy was stiff in my arms, counting steps under her breath like she was solving an equation. Hey, I whispered, pulling her closer. Just follow me. Stop thinking so hard. She looked up at me, and for a moment her guard completely dropped. She melted into me, her head finding that perfect spot against my shoulder. We swayed together as the song played, and I found myself hoping it would never end. Then during the bouquet toss, she caught it by accident when it bounced off another girl's hands. The crowd cheered, but Poppy immediately handed it to the girl beside her, laughing it off. Just superstition anyway, she said, but I noticed her looking at the flowers longingly as the other girl walked away. Her sister pulled me aside while Poppy was in the bathroom. Thank you, she said, squeezing my arm, for making her happy, even if it's just for tonight. The words stuck with me. As the night wound down, I realized I wasn't acting anymore. When I looked at her laughing with her cousins, I felt a pull in my chest that had nothing to do with owing her a favor. Driving her home, I couldn't keep it in anymore. Poppy, I know this was just repaying a debt, but tonight felt real to me. Really real. She went completely still in the passenger seat. When I pulled up to her apartment, she practically jumped out of the car. You did great. Perfect fake boyfriend. We're even now. The words came out rushed and cold. She was already at her building's door before I could respond. I sat there for 5 minutes, feeling like an idiot before driving home. The next morning, Poppy's sister texted me. You left your jacket at the coffee shop on 5th Street? When I arrived, she was sitting with Poppy's old chemistry notebook from college. She's going to kill me for this, the sister said, sliding it across the table. The margins were filled with notes about me, not chemistry notes. He remembered my coffee order. His smile, when he finally understood ionic bonds, stayed an extra hour to help me with my own exam. Page after page of moments I'd completely missed. The sister explained everything. The parents never tried to set her up with anyone. Adrian was a high school boyfriend who told her she was too much when she confessed her feelings. Poppy never dated anyone after college, convinced she'd misread every signal. She was moving to Chicago next month for her dream job, and called in the favor as a last shot to spend time with me before giving up forever. I drove straight to her apartment. She opened the door in pajamas, eyes puffy from crying. Before she could speak, I held up a notebook. Your sister showed me this. Her face went pale. That's so embarrassing. I kissed her, cutting off whatever self-deprecating thing she was about to say. When we pulled apart, I kept her face in my hands. I'm an idiot who needed chemistry help in more ways than one. I should have seen it 3 years ago. She started crying again, but this time she was smiling. So, what about Chicago? She asked. I pulled her closer. I hear it's beautiful this time of year. Plus, I still owe you. The favor was being your boyfriend for a day. Falling in love with you? That's just interest.